Welcome to Super Familiar with the Wilsons. I'm Amanda.
And I'm Josh.
Hi, Josh.
I was trying to figure out if I was going to use one of my nicknames, like Podcast Jesus, which I kind of retired Podcast Jesus, or Podcast Buddha.
Yes.
I'm thinking of other possible names.
What are they?
Like taking the religious stuff out of it, Podcast Fred. No?
No. Well, didn't we? I feel like our friends the Belsons sent a TikTok along with nicknames for your friend Josh. You've seen this, like, nicknames for your friend Amanda, nicknames for your friend Josh.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh my gosh. Do you not read this group thread? So there is a trend on TikTok that there's a content creator who does nicknames for your friend and he'll just pick a name and go with it. And so there's an Amanda one that one of my direct supports that works for me sent me, and she was like, I can't decide which one of these I'm going to use for you. And the Belsons sent one for you the other day.
Oh, no, I see. Now I'm looking back. Gavin sent it. Yes, I know what you're talking about. Yep. But then immediately after that, Dan Belson had basically nominated me for president.
That's right.
So I got off on that.
You were
that
there.
Tangent there. Sorry.
Well,
President Josh. But I'm the podcast president.
Podcast president. That's a good one.
What a freaking week it's been, man. I honestly, and I know that everyone who lives upon this planet called Earth agrees with me. And so I'm not breaking any new ground by saying this. I'm just saying what everyone else is thinking. And that is just when you think.
Right.
Like more things. And I'm starting to get like really concerned because I feel like now life is a series of boss battles. And it's just getting like more and more intense. I'm looking for like the final boss so that we can just win the game and go enjoy ourselves.
Or we all die, because that's what that feels like. I don't know.
I don't know. So this week we had the president stepping aside and deciding not to run. So now we have this whole other candidate, right? Mm-hmm. That happened after a few days of everyone stressing out, no matter what side you're on, after this debate and then the fallout from the day. So my point here is not to get in a political discussion. My point here is just to, things just happen and then something else happens. And it's like, oh, really? Hold my beer. And then this thing happens.
Yeah.
This other thing was just infinitely more interesting to me. This CrowdStrike computer thing.
Oh, right.
You're aware of this?
Yeah.
You didn't respond for a second.
Well, it took me a second. I'm just know it as the day Microsoft went down. That's what I think of it.
Do you know what happened? Are you familiar?
They pushed out an update and it broke everything.
It was not Microsoft.
Okay.
It was a antivirus company.
Clearly, they worked well.
Called CrowdStrike.
Okay.
And in fact, Microsoft has their own antivirus software that's in direct competition with CrowdStrike.
Oh, this sounds like it was.
It just happens
espionage and sabotage.
No. They know what it is. It's like they pushed out a patch or an update that had some sort of bug or something. And the bottom line with that is someone at that little old company is going to get fired if they haven't already been fired.
A lot of people.
And the damage that was done.
Oh, yeah.
The financial fallout from this was estimated to be $1 billion, but that actually feels low. There are financial repercussions untold. So you have people who couldn't catch a flight, the airlines affected.
Yeah.
But also these people who are stuck at an airport or stuck in a city, they had to go get themselves a hotel room or a rental car or this, that. They had to rebook flights. Some people are still stuck.
Yep.
The financial toll is adding up in smaller increments as in addition to like the worldwide breakdown. And so this was, and I hear people saying this is very interesting to me, this was what Y2K was supposed to be.
Oh, interesting.
This is what the Y2K bug at the turn of the century was anticipated to be.
Right, because all of the clocks on the computers didn't know what to do with going from 1900 to 2000.
Turns out they didn't care.
Right. Turns out they were just like, okay, it's the next day. We're fine.
Got it. We're good. So, yeah, this is what that was supposed to be.
The fallout's worse now than it would have been
so
then.
Much worse. Yeah. This is like Y2K grew up, right? It's like when you have a kid and you're like
24 years old now.
You're like, that kid is rotten. He's going to be terrible when he grows up. Y2K grew up and this is what happened.
And he's rotten.
It's only Tuesday as well. Right at the time of recording. So what else could possibly happen?
Please don't invite that. Don't put that out into I was going to say internet, but that shut down. So don't put that out into the ether.
Thanks for letting me know that I've been responsible for all of this whole time.
What?
Just don't put that out in the ether like I've got some sort of Harry Potter magic.
Yeah. Are you magical?
No, not me.
Okay.
So what else happened this week? So we did a lot of thinking, and you. What's so funny?
We did a lot of thinking, like we don't normally think
about this podcast.
Sorry.
And usually what we do is we have seasons that last 50 episodes, which takes us to near the end of the year. Then we break for a couple weeks, and then we come back for our next quote unquote season. We have 5 seasons so far, and we're kind of in the middle of it now. But I think what we're going to do is we're going to readjust what we do a little bit. We're going to try new things. We might even change the look or the sound of it. Who knows? I don't know. But we're just thinking that
getting a refresh.
It's time.
You're just getting a refresh.
It's time. So this is the last episode of the season.
Well, I mean, but we're coming back, so they don't need to cry and be sad.
No. It's just like this is the cliffhanger. This is we're wanting you to.
Oh gosh.
To come see what's happening. A couple of loose ends that we have that we need to tie up, though. Our friend Gavin Belson has come on this show quite a bit to talk about his dating woes.
Mm-hmm.
So I got some dating advice from other people to him that he might take to heart.
People that listen to our podcast,
yes,
or just
yes.
like out in the world?
No, I didn't go on the street, not yet. All right, so first of all, I've got some dating advice from Justin Henson of the Movie Wire podcast. Actually, of several podcasts, but the Movie Wire is the one that comes to mind right now. So this is our friend Justin giving Gavin some dating advice.
My dating advice is to always wrap a rubber band around your wallet when you're taking an escort out, so you can feel it being taken from your back pocket. Actually, this works with any date you go on. And finally, my final advice is to always try before you buy.
Oh, God. Okay.
All right, so protect your wallet is what I hear Justin saying, and always try before you buy. I'm going to go ahead and say that what he's trying to tell us is to make sure that you know the person before you make a commitment.
I like that is where you're taking it, because I do not think that's what he meant.
Well, what do you think he meant?
All right, Gavin. I hope that you take that to heart. Who else do we have advice from?
Are you done with that one? Then you're not.
I'm just going to leave that right there.
All right. So next we have Josh Scar from the Talking Smack podcast, and he has this to say.
Hey, Josh and Gavin, this is Josh from Talking Smack. My dating advice would be self-reflection. Understanding who you are, why you're reacting the way you are. I think that gives you a better insight into who you are compatible with. If you can find that person who is compatible with who you view yourself to be, that will lead to a pretty successful relationship. And on top of that, having that introspection allows you to not respond negatively in disagreements. If you have the ability to take a step back, ask yourself, why am I doing this? And if you have a good self-reflection on yourself, not necessarily a good self-image, but a good self-reflection, I think you can make almost any argument end fairly quickly and positively for both parties. Hope this helps. Take care and good luck.
So 2 very different takes on dating advice.
I would expect no less. What did you think of that?
I appreciate that. I think that being reflective is a really important trait. It took me a very long time to become self-reflective. Why are you making that face at me?
You weren't supposed to see that face. Keep going.
Anyway, because then you have to admit, like, maybe you have flaws, or maybe you have, something was your fault or whatever, if we're not trying to do blame, but your responsibility. And that's not comfortable, but it is, as he's saying, productive, right? So,
yeah,
right,
very good. Very good. And then lastly, Danny Buckets, our friend from Casting Views, the Casting Views podcast, has this to say, and I've not listened to this one yet.
Not having been in the dating game for about 22 years now, I'm not sure what all the youngsters do now in terms of preferred dating norms, but I would suggest eye contact, but not too much. Don't look scary, and potentially go somewhere fun like an arcade or a zoo or where there's attractions. So if the date doesn't go well, at least you can still have a good time going to the place you're at. Yeah, I think you can't go wrong with that, right?
So make eye contact, but not creepy eye contact. And go to the arcade or the zoo so that if you don't like the date, you can just be into the arcade or the zoo. So is that like, I'm just going to go play skee ball now? Or like what? Or I'm going to go over here and look at these elephants by myself?
The funny thing about this is that he says he hasn't been in the dating world for 20 some odd years, and that's like dating advice from a 14-year-old is what he gave. So I love that. Thank you, Danny. Thank you, Josh. Thank you, Justin. If you had advice for Gavin, then get in touch with us, familiarwilsons@gmail.com, and we are looking forward to more tales of Gavin's dating woe.
What time is it? Game time! Boom!
And that song by my son Andrew tells us it's time for game time. Now, one of the things we know that we're going to start doing with this rebrand, with this next season that we're going to have, is we are going to start a little competition between Amanda and myself. We are going to have a head-to-head where each week we each get points.
Yes.
Or we're going to figure out how it's going to go. But we're going to keep tally these points. And, of course, you can root for me. You can root for Amanda. I'd much rather you root for me. Yeah, and we'll see who's smarter, who's...
Yeah, but here's the problem with this. I give you legit quizzes from the New York Times. You give me nonsense made up, Google Translate, Dr. Seussian rhyming song quiz titles. And it's not the same. It is not equitable, my friend.
It's not the same doesn't mean it's not equitable. It's preparing us for life. Listen, not everything is a New York Times blah, 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 whatever nonsense. You know, you got to be well-rounded. You got to be prepared to deal with the nonsense. And look
Don't
at the
point your pen at
world
me.
in which we live.
All right, listen, this is the last
No.
flashbacks you're getting. I'm coming with some messed up stuff next time.
All I'm saying is the world in which we live requires us to think logically, but also to deal with the nonsense.
Okay.
And we need to be prepared for both. And so
All right.
I'm helping you.
All right.
All right, so you are going to give me a flashbacks quiz. Why don't you remind our viewers what the flashbacks quiz is?
So this is a quiz where we get 8 events from history, and Josh has to put them on a timeline. So he gets the first event, tries to decide when approximately that happened in history, and then I give him another one, and he says before or after. Well, he tries to guess, right? But if he gets it before or after in the correct place, then he gets a point. So we're starting with 0 points.
Okay.
You ready? Your first event is the Space Shuttle Columbia lifts off. It's named in part for the first U.S. ship to circle the globe.
1982.
Oh, so close. 1981.
Oh, bam. I
Okay.
mean, that's my wheelhouse right there.
I mean, and if you guys didn't know, Josh went to space camp, like the movie, but he didn't actually go to space. Okay.
In the new podcast we're going to do, Amanda's going to be nicer to me. Go ahead.
All right. For 3 points. Alexander the Great conquers the known world in 13 years, but as soon as he dies, lacking a clear successor, his empire starts to disintegrate. So before or after the Space Shuttle Columbia?
You know that the Space Shuttle Columbia was actually built by ancient Egyptians?
And aliens. Got it.
We're going to say minus 500. Minus 500, of course, being 500 BC.
This is 323 BCE, but you did get 3 points for that because you knew that it was before 1981.
Yes,
Good
thank
job.
you. Next.
All right, next. Baffled by their uranium test, physicists ask Lisa Meitner for help. She helps discover that atoms are being split, which is the birth of nuclear fusion.
Oh, fusion. E.
Okay, well, all you need to decide right now is it before, after Alexander the Great, or before, after the space shuttle?
1973.
All right, so... Well, you got it right on the timeline, but it was 1938.
Oh, wow. Nuclear fusion happened earlier than I thought it did. 1933. Okay.
All right. So for 3 points, her legs paralyzed by polio, Marguerite Stife learns to sew. Her company debuts a stuffed animal named after the U.S. president called a teddy bear.
Okay. So when was Teddy Roosevelt? Before 33, right?
Well, 38 to 39 is when the nuclear fusion thing happened.
Oh, was it? Okay. Yeah, then I'm going to say before that, like 33.
All right. Oh, again, you're doing well, but it was 1903. Okay, I'm going to apologize now because I'm not going to say this correctly, but the next event is Chichen Itza.
Chichen Itza, yes.
Thank you.
In Mexico.
Thrives as one of the largest Mayan cities, with paved roads and even suburbs as people and trade flow across the region.
Chichen Itza, I will put before 323 BCE.
Before Alexander the Great?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Tap it in place. Oh, incorrect, but close. Well, it's not really close. All right. So you lost 3 points there. It was 900.
900
What, AD or whatever we call it now?
CE, Common Era.
Common Era. Okay.
Damn.
So linked to this, inspired partly by Mayan ruins, the Sydney Opera House is built. That's fascinating because I would not have thought one would influence the other. Its shells are made from a sphere like the peels of an orange. So this is for 4 points.
I have no earthly idea. I just assumed that the Sydney Opera House has always been there from the dawn of time. Let's say 1976.
Okay, so before the space shuttle, but after uranium. Oh, 1973.
Bam.
Good. That was really good.
God, I was sweating that. I thought I got that wrong.
All right, we got 3 more. As the golden apple, a yellow-red citrus fruit, grows more popular in Europe, its name becomes an English word to describe a color, orange. Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know. Did you know the etymology of the word, the color orange?
No. Okay, I'm gonna say like the 1200s.
Okay. All right. So after Chichen Itza and before the first teddy bear, 1500s. All right. So you still got it right on your timeline.
It's weird that we know when a word was invented. The word orange was invented in the 1500s.
All right. 2 more. Ready?
Yeah.
Isaac Newton uses a prism to split light into a spectrum.
I know that I should know when Isaac Newton was alive, but
he then recombines the spectrum back into white light, establishing a theory of color.
Was orange in there? So it has to be after 1500s, right? So we'll say 1600s.
All right. 1672. Impressive. All right.
Well, it's only because I knew when orange was invented.
All right. So last one. In the city of Ugarit, the oldest known melody is written. It's a song as old as time. As the first known sundials and water clocks are built into, I know it was everything I could do it. That's a tale as old as time. It's a song as old as time, as the first known sundials and water clocks are built then too.
Okay, so I'm going to put that the first thing on the list then.
Okay,
way
so
at the beginning.
before Alexander the Great. And you are correct. It is 1400 BCE. So you scored 26 of 28 points with 7 of 8 events correct this week.
All right, so that means to start our competition, I get 7 points.
I know.
No,
All right.
I'm kidding. I'm surprised you didn't object to that.
No, you get 26 points.
We haven't started our competition yet, but
you get 26 points.
Right, but we haven't even decided exactly what our competition is going to be like. So,
Oh, okay.
That'll be for next episode. We'll kick that off. By the way, if you have any ideas for games that we should play against each other, and I'm talking about like word games, but also like physical games like arm wrestling and such, then yeah, we're gonna do everything for points here now in this family.
Everything
for
and
points.
the family. Are you getting the children involved too?
No, they can be point keepers.
So, if you are interested in your history, people, once you go and you take the flashback, then it will give you like links to learn more about each of these events and why they are this week. So, for example, the golden apple, which was really a citrus fruit that became known as orange, it's linked to the Euro 2024 soccer tournament, where at the best party for the tournament, you just had to wear orange. Right. So it's, something, but I'm interested in this one. It says the teddy bear one is sharing a bed with a partner can mean making way for a stuffed animal. I need to understand this. Move over, honey. Teddy is getting in. Sharing a bed with a partner sometimes means making way for a beloved stuffed animal or blanket too. Well, you got me a stuffed animal that used to be in our bed. Now the dog has it. It was a giant red lobster and now it lives on the floor. But I need you to appreciate this picture of this stuffed animal. It's just a donkey in bed with this woman. It's a big stuffed donkey. I'm very confused. Anyway, I'm confused. All that.
So this is a news article that you're reading, correct? About
it's a New York Times article.
Okay. There is not enough going on in the world, like serious news, that this needs to be.
Yes. It did. There was.
Here's the thing. I would like news to be. I'd like for it to inform me what's going on, like important things. And a lot of times those things are like upsetting or whatever. But, I want to know the truth of it. And we're not here to debate whether mainstream media gives us the truth or not. That's not my point. But if they're not going to give me that, then give me like wholesome, uplifting.
That was a very cute donkey.
It's absolutely, that's a nonsense story. That is a useless story. That right there, that article is an argument for AI journalism right there.
Right. So how do you know it wasn't written by AI? The Alexander the Great one, though.
Smart to write
the Alexander the Great one was because it said if you think the world's political leaders are like nonsense or whatever, now imagine like working for Alexander the Great or whatever. That was tying into the political climate right now.
I think that throughout time, people have been people have been the same. The only difference between now and Alexander the Great's time is the iPhone. So there you go. And now, Refined Gay Thoughts with Refined Gay Jeff.
Hi, Jeff.
We're definitely going to take Jeff into this transition with us. We will continue to bring his updates. And so this is what Jeff says. Greetings and salutations, Wilsons. I have indeed survived Mother Nature's latest attempt to wipe Houston off the face of the map, but not without strife and peril. Hurricane Beryl came to town and didn't play nice.
No.
Even though she was a Category 1, she did not behave like a Category 1. Did you see the video? We talked about it, I think, where someone was filming outside of Houston. All of a sudden, it got pitch black.
No, I didn't see
Black as night. It was the weirdest thing. Everyone was totally surprised and left scratching their heads over what had just happened. I've weathered 4 hurricanes since moving to Houston in 2002. Hurricane Rita, Cat 3, which was responsible for the largest evacuation in U.S. history with over 3 million moving inland.
Oh, wow.
On a really good day, you can drive to Dallas from Houston in 3.5 to 4 hours. During this evacuation, I had friends stuck on the interstate for 15 hours.
No. In hurricane conditions. Excellent. Good.
Interstate 45 was a parking lot. People ran out of gas sitting on the road. Over 100 people died.
Oh.
Not because of the storm, but because of heat exhaustion made worse by traffic.
Oh.
There was another grisly bus death of 23 nursing home patients.
Oh, God. This is awful.
When overheating brakes came into contact with oxygen tanks. And then he apologized for getting so dark.
That's really dark.
So then he talks about Hurricane Ike, a Category 2 storm that made landfall in Galveston, which is down closer to the Gulf. He says, I remember living on the top floor of my complex at that time. So trying to go to sleep that night, listening to the unearthly howling wind, thinking to myself, oh my God, I'm on the top floor. If this roof goes, I go with it. Luckily, I survived the night to walk around in the eerie, quiet, aftermath the following morning. This is something we talked about last week. Hurricane Harvey, Category 4 storm about 5 years ago, gave biblical epic flooding. It made landfall, left Houston, then somehow circled back around and hit us again. Believe it or not, we got 54 inches of water in about a day and a half.
That's insane.
So he goes on. He's going to talk about Beryl a little bit, this one that just barreled down on them.
Yes, I got what you did
Yes.
there.
The meteorologists were saying it did not behave like a normal Category 1 hurricane. I fear that because of climate change, this may be our new normal when it comes to storms. I did sustain some roof damage and subsequent water damage as a result. I was awakened that morning at 5:30 by the sound of drip, drip, drip. I get up and look at the ceiling beside my bed, and it looks like a bubble. Water was collecting and just waiting to burst through, which it did about 2 hours later. A large portion of my bedroom ceiling collapsed onto the floor beside my bed, and I had a clear view all the way to the saturated boards of my roof. I took pictures and cleaned up and set more pots and pans around to catch the water still falling through, and talked to my next door neighbor, who's a great contractor, and he's going to replace my roof and patch the ceiling. His bid was almost $8,000 less than the other bids, so of course I'm going to go with him. It pays to have really nice neighbors that watch out for you. Amen. That's the truth, boy. I just have to be on his timeline right now and wait until he has time to fit me in from all the other work he is getting. The contractors, they are making bank right now. I remember going through Hurricane Andrew and all of the people who went through who pretended to be contractors, and they would go almost door to door and collect deposits and money from people and then never be seen or heard from again. So,
Lots
Jeff,
of thievery.
You are very lucky. He says, I've just closed the door to my master bedroom and am sleeping in another bedroom for right now, and he'll keep us informed. He said, I went to a drag show Saturday for Good Times and Levity. It was really interesting. First of all, the MC drag queen started off the show with Whitney Houston's performance of the Star-Spangled Banner from the Super Bowl. You remember that? The best performance of it ever, in my humble opinion. Every person in the ripcord stood and was captivated by her delivery. A lot of screaming when she finished. Wait, what are we talking about? I actually felt I was there at the game watching it all unfold for the first time. It was really incredible. The only two performers of note after that were a blind drag queen that you had to tap on her hand to let her know you were there to tip her. I got super emotional after I tipped her, looking at the extremely long line of patrons that weaved in and around the room like a ride at Disney. It was very touching to see. The other performance was some queen dressed in black feathers down the length of her arms and around her neck. She looked like Moira Rose in The Croning on Schitt's Creek. Amanda, after listening to you describe the Isle of Shame at Aldi and the signal that alerts others to a potential good deal, all I wanted to do was yell, caw-caw, caw-caw.
Also, Jeff, I told you got to watch out for the bird flu. I had a similar experience it wasn't a drag show, but I was at a gay bar on Charlottesville, with a couple good friends, and there was a very decked out person just in their regular clothes in black feathers everywhere, and it was like Adam Lambert meets Moira Rose. It was super interesting, but that's where my warning for you about the bird flu comes from.
Very good. He says, I'll close with this thought. He said he's heard me say many times that our purpose on this earth is for other people. So imagine my surprise as I am watching Season 3, Episode 16 of Northern Exposure.
Oh, wow.
On Prime Video. Do you remember Northern?
Yeah, I do.
What a quirky little show that was. I really enjoyed it. Until I didn't. He says
As with most things with you.
They use and talk about this quote from Albert Einstein. Strange is our situation here upon earth. However, there's one thing that we do know, that man is here for the sake of other men, and above all, those upon whose smile and well-being our own happiness depends. Also for the countless unknown souls with whose fate we are connected by a bond of sympathy. And have a great week, my friends, he says, in closing.
No peace and cookies.
And peace and cookies.
Okay. I was waiting for my peace and cookies. Thank you, Jeff. And one thing that Jeff didn't mention in his letter is that he was without power for a significant number of days. And his neighbor shared his generator, right? Ran the cord and shared the generator. So I'm so thankful that you have people who are looking out for you and the pups and that you are doing well.
Always be generous with your generators. I've always said this.
Yes. Excellent. Good.
No one likes to be told what to do.
And now is the time of the program where we tell you what to do. Amanda, what should we do?
So this week I'm going to rec something that is called the Sleepy Girl Cocktail. I have been thinking that I need to cut out my weeknight glasses of wine or cocktails or whatever. Stress when you come home. And I enjoy having a cocktail or a glass of wine while I'm cooking too, but that just adds up with calories. It messes with your sleep. And it's really not great for cognitive health. And so I'm really going to just cut it out during the week, but I wanted to replace it with something. And I kept seeing this thing online, Sleepy Girl Cocktail. Now, it's by a company called Moon Juice. They just want to sell you their thing. It's like one of those TikTok, Instagram things. But you can go get magnesium powder anywhere. I went to Whole Foods yesterday. I got magnesium powder. It was like $12.99 for the thing. It's just one scoop, and it's 350 milligrams of magnesium. And you put it, you 2 ounces of hot water to dissolve it, and then you can put it with anything. And so I bought Waterloo seltzers, have a mojito mocktail, just lime and mint, no sugar, and mix those together and put some cucumber and some mint from our garden and made a lovely cocktail. It made me very calm. I had a great night's sleep. Did it again tonight, and I'm feeling chill. And so I'm going to suggest, if you want to replace a weeknight cocktail with something more healthy for you, or you just want to try some magnesium to get some rest, then I'm going to rec a Sleepy Girl cocktail. Get yourself some fizzing magnesium powder and a seltzer of your choice.
I'm going to recommend start again. You don't like how something's going? Start it again. You don't like how you do something? Then change it.
Yeah.
All we have is today. All we have is the present moment. The past doesn't matter. The future ain't here yet. And so if you don't like something, just change it.
I'm now singing No Day But Today from Rent in my head.
Just don't sing it aloud. We don't have rights.
All right.
All right, Amanda, that's all there is. There is no more. We would like to thank all of you who are listening and who have been listening for the past, how many years? How long? 4 years.
We started it during COVID, so 4 years.
Last 4 years. We hope that you stick with us. Like I said, we're going to take a little time off, then start again and afresh. So just be paying attention to this channel, and we'll let you know what's going on. What's going to be the same? We're going to be the same. Same people. We're not replacing Amanda or me. We're still
Amanda.
Still going to have interviews. Still going to do games. Probably still going to have the song quiz.
Oh, goody.
Because we can't not have that. So, yeah.
Still going to have Jeff.
Still going to have Jeff.
And you're still going to lose to me at this point thing that we're figuring out.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Not gonna, but...
There needs to be a food challenge.
Yeah, no, all of it. All of this for points.
I need you to eat hot peppers again.
Okay.
That was a long time ago that we did that episode, and it was one of my favorites.
I'm happy for
choked on the peppers.
I'm happy for both of us. You won't forget that we both had hot peppers.
I know.
Okay.
I know, but I'm just focusing on you right now.
All right. Until we talk to you again, I'm Josh. That's Amanda. And y'all be good to each other, because you know that the world isn't always a good place.
Go be kind.
Bye.
Bye.